And how are you again? This is Reverend Jess Foglesong from Touched by God Church. And we have another lesson for you, and it's a very interesting lesson. It has to do with politics. Our lesson for today is called, Does God Involve Himself in Our Politics? Does He? Well, do you think God is involved with world politics? Do you think He has a hand in guiding the outcome of a presidential race, whether it is here in the United States or any other country? Does God really care how we govern our individual countries? Is He at all involved? Well, how are we to know what He thinks? Well, we don't. What we do know is that we have studied and read in human history, and especially what we have read in the Bible. And of course, we will never ever totally comprehend who he totally is and what He literally thinks. God's character is constant. He sees all events at once. He is omnipresent, ubiquitous. He is everywhere at the same time. He sees everything. He obviously knows the past, and He obviously knows the future. Therefore, He has to deal with the whole, as well as with one eye on the subjective. So why would He want to focus on how we humans run our government? Well, I do believe that He does, and is watching us at this moment. An illustration. He has all eyes on us as an illustration illustrated by the eye of a fly. Within the eye of a fly are thousands of tiny little eyes that peer and gaze nearly 360 degrees. That's why it is very difficult to catch or swat the little buggers. God is keeping an eye on us. It is in His interest to watch and be involved in what we are up to, and has been from the beginning of time, of our time. No doubt He has interceded at various points to lead us in this or that direction, mainly in history, to ensure a Redeemer, Jesus the Christ. But since then, and by the way, a successful series of events, we are now within the interval time after the redemption and before the restoration of the new kingdom. And so all that is happening to us now is merely leading up to the moment of His return. And although in human terms, every day and every event is important and seem totally relevant and meaningful to God, it is a time of harvest, a time of maturing, a time of weeding out the good and the bad. It is a time for helping us make a decision to believe in the good, in the Father, or simply speaking, believing in only the self. And certainly the devil will help you in that category. The character of God is unchanging. It is solid. It is forever steady. God is not emotional. He is not arbitrary or unfair. He is who He is, and there is no other like Him. Evil cannot exist in His presence. Although He works within the backdrop of evil, He constantly pushes and wards off the forces of evil, the darkness, the chaos. And you can be sure that He is there, very close by, sheltering us from such intrusion. And so, in such tumultuous political years as we here in America, the United States, are experiencing, some of us are intuitively recognizing that there seem to be forces out there that are pulling and pushing us in this or that direction. And we wonder if such unknown forces are coming from the good or the bad. All we know is how and what we feel. And many of us are feeling and sensing an all-out gravitation. The forces of good and evil are working full time, leading us down toward its preferred pathway. And I know that a multitude of us are praying that we are mature and sensible enough to know the difference between good and evil. We have faith that God, our Father in heaven, keeps that one eye on us and hopefully finds it in his heart and reasoning to continue to steer us toward him, toward the light, toward the good, as we head into this time of transition of a new era for America and the world. In God we trust, and God bless America. All right, that's a pretty good lesson, and as the 4th of July is approaching, the Independence Day, and God did bless America from the very beginning, and I know he continues to bless us now. All we need to do as believers is to turn to him. As non-believers, stop and think. Would you rather go to the negative, to the dark side, or go to the light, to the good? It's common sense tells us you want to do the right thing. Go to the good and see what happens. Reverend Jess Foglesong, and we'll stop right here. And it's getting late in the afternoon here in the Napa Valley, and we'll see you next time. God's blessing for you. Take good care.